This is an example of the power of one. Sometimes we don't even try.
AlMaghrib Institute presents Q&A with Kamal al-Mekki.
This is a true story. So I'm in Australia, and we're traveling from one city to another. I can't recall where it was, but we're driving on the highway, and there's a huge yellow billboard sign, and it says, it's a question with big black letters on a yellow background. Want better SEX ?
Oh, okay.
And when I saw it, I was shocked because I'm from Virginia, and it's very conservative there. Like, we don't have
It's a red state.
adult stores. Don't say adult stores. We don't have any of that
Totally
stuff.
different here in Texas.
Yeah, very different at all. So I've never seen anything like that.
Texas is the first place I saw. Is like going down 45 from Dallas to Texas, and Dallas to Houston. He says Heartbreakers, just like a strip club. And then the next billboard, he says, if Jesus can mend your heart.
It's crazy. Okay,
Did they plan it together? Anyways, the point is, so when I saw that, I was just being naturally shocked here. So I told the brother who's driving, like, what is this? And I was so shocked. Like, how could they have this? What if you're in the car with your children and they're just learning to read and they read that and they ask you, what is that? I don't understand how you can. So he was shocked at me being shocked. Anyways, I come back a year later and we're driving on the highway. Same guy, same car. We're driving on the highway. He says, Shaykh, look at that sign. And it was the same billboard. And it said, want better S. And then the E and the X were completely, I don't know, redacted or just completely in black box over them. And he's like, let me tell you the story. He said, when we went on that trip and you reacted to the billboard, I came back. And just while I'm having dinner with my wife, I told her how shocked. And I was like, the Shaykh was really shocked at that billboard, blah, blah, blah. He said the next day, she just picked up the phone and she called, I don't know if it's city council or I don't know what she called, but she just made one phone call. And she said that that's not appropriate and the children and blah, blah, blah. And they put out an order or a rule to block them all or to censor all of them. She didn't have to launch a campaign. She didn't have to get a whole, she made one, she didn't even have to call 6 times. You know, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you don't have to do anything, barely anything, and you can affect change, but we've like become used to being helpless and we accepted that idea that we can affect change.
You know, it's interesting because just coming from a background in sales, the reason that people don't do well in sales and business in general, because they don't ask.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
right?
It's a shahada course, fact right there.
It's a shahada thing too, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can give them all the information, but if you don't make the close.
In one area of retail, they found out that 96% of the time the sale doesn't go through. And that's huge, 96%. Is that the salesperson didn't ask for the sale. And all the other 1,001 different reasons are crammed into the 4%.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. So sometimes people just don't try. So we accept a lot of this nonsense and maybe we can report a lot more videos.
No, it's not even
report them on TikTok and Instagram. That's it.
Reporting TikTok and Instagram. I mean, you talk about creating change. It's like you're called to your representative. Or the people who communicate with the representative, like the secretaries or whatever, like all of that information is public, right? Yeah. People don't dial those numbers. I mean, because everybody's so used to just text messaging, and all of these things are not text message based. You have to actually pick up the phone and dial. And I think, and that's where people who have established policies in a town or city, is because they reach out. It's not even about campaigning.
Yeah. I still believe that in many Muslim countries, pornography can be banned, and easily too, because it's hard to argue for it. And if a group just says, let's ban it, let's block these sites from entering our country, who's going to be on the other side opposing them? And I specifically said in a Muslim country, it'll be very hard to oppose them. You know, maybe if they have another minority from a different religious background, maybe they'll oppose.
What's interesting is, aren't Muslim countries the biggest consumers of pornography?
I don't know if that's to be true, man. I saw the survey results. I think it was Google. I think.
I don't know.
I just don't know how it was true. It was like the top 5 or top 6 for Muslim countries.
All I know is one of my buddies back when I was in DC used to work for a consulting firm. Okay. The consulting firm had a client, and their client basically was coming back in terms of saying, hey, our reporting seems off. Something weird. Numbers are not where they're typically at. Now, the client of the consulting company serviced, apparently they were doing data and analytics stuff for many websites. Among them were porn websites.
Oh.
Right? Turned out during Ramadan, the numbers just plummeted in terms of people visiting, and
Subhanallah.
like they didn't know what was happening until they looked deeper into the data. And it was just that during Ramadan the numbers plummeted.
And then Eid, like, but wallahi, what a shame though. What a shame. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how much of that is related to Muslim countries versus just the effect of Ramadan on a global society.
But that's also one of the effects of zina. Like people, generally when people think of zina as like the victims of zina, people generally think that it's women. And that's true. But men are also victims of zina, even as they seemingly willingly participate, right, in hookup culture or what have you. And zina, what zina does, of the ways that it affects men, is that it robs them of their potential. It robs them as their potential. It robs them of their potential as men.
Okay.
So if you have the 18-year-old boy or 19-year-old boy, like just think of that sexual drive, what it pushes a young man to do. It pushes him to graduate university, and it pushes him to get a job.
To fulfill all the rites of passage into adulthood.
Absolutely, right? But now, when you have pornography, and when you're talking about extended adolescence and the crisis that boys are facing and all of this type of stuff.
What do you mean crisis?
Them being boys, like them not growing up into manhood. Like this is a serious problem. Them extending their extended adolescence into their 30s.
Okay.
They're not accomplishing anything. They're not graduating from school. They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And part of it, two things are generally pointed to. Number one is video games, and number two is pornography.
Video games?
Yes, because what video games does is it fulfills that desire of being a hero, that desire of adventure.
But how is
boys.
Video games
Because
today...
it gives them that. It gives them levels that they can accomplish. It gives them like that particular growth, that rite of passage.
I feel like you could find a counter study about video games, that it helps them in life.
I'm sure it helps to some degree. But it also, again, like if you look at these boys, they're completely satisfied with these two things. With video games and with pornography. And pornography obviously satisfies that sexual urge. And so both of them, convenient at their fingertips, really harms their ability to continue to grow.
You know, this guy came to me the day before Eid. This was in Ramadan, and Eid is tomorrow. And he said, basically he tells me that he's been addicted to porn since he was 14. He's like 19 now. And it's always on his phone. And he says, tomorrow is Eid. And do you know how many days I've fasted this Ramadan? Just because of pornography. One day.
Allahu Akbar.
One day. Tomorrow is Eid. The month is over. And he read enough where he knows that even getting married won't help him. Because it's completely different from marriage. It's not, it creates this different expectation. Like it's completely different, you know? But one of my friends, a dear friend of mine, and he's in New Zealand now, and a couple of years ago, he started just dealing with porn addiction, and to the point where he's now one of the authorities. Yeah. Okay. He has his courses so and he sent me some. I'm not going to mention this site, but he said this is not the site. These are statistics from the site, and this is one website, and they said the number of hours since they launch of that site, the number of hours people have watched porn total is longer than humans have been on Earth. If you add up all the hours, and this is one site, longer than humans have been on Earth, then he'll give you breakdowns that are just unbelievable.
You know what's fascinating is all of the advancements of media technology, we got them because people want to watch more porn.
Really?
I mean, generally speaking, when it came to increasing bandwidth and video and all of that, is because people wanted
those videos, huh?
Better. Like these are the things that led that development, and I guess people reappropriated the technology for something more virtuous later.
I don't know what it is now, but 10 or so years ago, the number one use of the internet was for pornography. And number two, was God. People would search God.
For real?
Yeah.
This is like
this was about
search results and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the number one search thing was porn. The number two was God.
God?
God, yeah.
I'm surprised that's number 2.